Hello friends, today we will study about the topic pair of linear equations in two variables, which is a topic of class 10th. You have already studied pair of linear equation in two variables in class 9th. There you have studied that what is a linear equation in two variables and how does the graph of a linear equation in two variables look like. Basically, linear equation in two variables is an equation which contains two variables and degree of both the variables should be 1. But now our topic is pair of linear equation in two variables. That means we will always be dealing with two linear equations in two variables. So now let us study about it. So the general form of a pair of linear equation in two variables x and y is a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0, where a1 and b1 should not be equal to 0. Why? Because if any one from a1 and b1 becomes 0, our linear equation in two variable will reduce to a linear equation in one variable. That's why they should not be 0. Similarly, we can take the another one as a2x plus b2y plus c2 is equal to 0, where a2 and b2 should not be equal to 0. And the things which we are using here, a1, b1, c1, a2, b2, c2, they are what? They all are real numbers and x and y are variables. Now let us talk about the solution. Solution of a pair of linear equation in two variables. What does solution means? Solution means a pair of values of x and y satisfying each one of the equation is called a solution of the linear equation in two variables. So how can we find out the solution of a linear equation in two variable? Basically, we are having two methods. One is graphical method, another is algebraic method. So today we will study about the graphical method only. What is graphical method? Graphical method means we are going to talk that when we draw the graph, how does our pair of linear equation will look like. But we will not draw the graph. We will have some condition. On the basis of that, we will say that how does our graph will look like. But firstly, we should know that how does the graph of a single linear equation look like. We have studied in class 9th that when we draw the graph of a linear equation in two variable, it will become a straight line. It will become a straight line. So when I am talking about two lines, there will be two lines. So they can be either intersecting or parallel or coincident. Now intersecting means they are going to intersect each other at one point. Parallel means they are not going to meet each other. And coincident means they are going to overlap each other. Instead of these three, we will not have any other condition which two pair of linear equation can represent. So now one by one we will study about that in which condition we will be getting intersecting pair of linear equation and in which condition we will have parallel lines and in which condition we will be having coincident line. So these things we can study by the help of the coefficients of our linear equation. So here what I have written that if a1 upon a2 is not equal to b1 upon b2. Now what is a1, a2, b1, b2? a1 and a2 are the coefficients of x in both the linear equations, and b1 and b2 are the coefficients of y. We will take the coefficients of a1 and b1 and a2 and b2 and then we will compare their ratios. If the ratio is not equal, then what happens? Then the lines are intersecting. But we are not getting only one result. If the lines are intersecting, we know that they are meeting each other at one point. If they are meeting each other at one point only, that means we will be having only one solution, that is unique solution. And whenever we are getting the solution, we can say that the given pair of linear equation is consistent. So let us go further. Now the other condition is if a1 upon a2 is equal to b1 upon b2 and is equal to c1 upon c2, then Now you have already know that what is A1, what is B1, what is A2, what is B2. And C1, C2 is the constant terms which are present there in our pair of linear equation. What happens if all the three ratios become equal? Then our lines are coincident. That means the lines are going to overlap each other. They are representing the single line only. They are not representing the separate lines. So they will overlap. The lines will be coincident. Earlier I said that the lines were meeting at one point, so we have got only one result, one solution. But here the lines are coincident. That means they are meeting each other at so many points. If they are meeting each other at so many points, so the solutions will be infinitely many. Yes, there will be infinitely many solutions. Again, we are getting a solution, so the lines are consistent. Now, the third condition is, I have found out all the three ratios. A1 upon A2 and B1 upon B2 are equal. But the ratio which I am getting from A1 upon A2 and B1 upon B2 is not equal to C1 upon C2. Then what happens? Then the lines are parallel. If the lines are parallel, then they are not meeting each other at any point. If they are not meeting each other, that means we will not have any solution. And if we will not have any solution, we will call the pair of linear equation inconsistent. So till now we have studied that in which condition we will have intersecting line, coincident line and parallel line. But from each one condition we have got 3 results. That means total we have studied about the 9 results from 3 conditions. But how does we will use these things in the question? How do we will use these things in our question? That I have explained in next example. So let us move to that. Example 1 is, find out whether the lines representing the following pair of linear equation intersect at a point or parallel or coincident. 5x minus 4y plus 8 is equal to 0. 7x plus 6y minus 9 is equal to 0. So when we start the solution, we will always consider our both the equation as number 1 and number 2. Now what we have to do? We have to find out the value of a1, b1, c1, a2, b2 and c2. For this, what we will do? We will compare our first equation with a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0. Now if I want to compare, that means the given equation should be in the general form. That means it should be equal to 0. Here you can observe that it is already given equal to 0, so we don't need to make any change. But if it is not given equal to 0, then we will have to change it into the general form. Here we don't need to make any change. So after comparing, we got the value of a1 5, the value b1 minus 4 and the value c1 8. As we can observe that our general form is having all the positive signs, so when we are comparing, we will take the sign with it also. So we are taking the sign also. Similarly, let us compare the second with a2x plus b2y plus c2 is equal to 0. So we got a2 is equal to 7, b2 is equal to 6 and c2 is equal to minus 9. Now what we have to do? We have to find out the ratios. Let us find it out. a1 upon a2. Substituting the values, we got 5 upon 7, b1 upon b2, minus 4 upon 6. Cancellation is possible here. So let us perform the cancellation. It is minus 2 upon 3. c1 upon c2, 8 upon minus 9. So what we have observed? We are observing that the ratio which we are getting from a1 upon a2 and the ratio which we are getting from b1 upon b2, they are not equal each other. That means a1 upon a2 is not equal to b1 upon b2. Therefore, we have studied that if a1 upon a2 is not equal to b1 upon b2, then the given pair of linear equations will intersect each other at a point. But from each 3 conditions, we have studied 3 results. That means the question can be in some other form also. So let us study for the other forms. So our next example is, check whether given pair of linear equation in two variables has unique solution, no solution, or infinitely many solution. Equations are 3x minus 5y is equal to 20, 6x minus 10y is equal to 40. So here we can see that our given pair of linear equations are not in the general form. So we have to convert it into general form. For this we have taken the 20 which is there on right hand side to the left hand side and 40 which is there on the right hand side to the left hand side. So our equations become 3x minus 5y minus 20 is equal to 0. 6x minus 10y minus 40 is equal to 0. Again, considering them as 1 and 2, we will compare the first with a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0. So we got a1 is equal to 3, b1 is equal to minus 5 and c1 is equal to minus 20. Similarly, comparing 2 with a2x plus b2y plus c2 is equal to 0, we get a2 is equal to 6, b2 is equal to minus 10 and c2 is equal to minus 40. Now we have to find out the ratio. a1 upon a2, 3 upon 6. Cancellation is possible. So 3 1s are 3, 3 2s are 6. It will be 1 upon 2. Again b1 upon b2, minus 5 upon minus 10. Cancellation is possible on the table of 5. 5 1s are 5, 5 2s are 10. Again we got 1 upon 2. c1 upon c2, minus 20 upon minus 40. Cancellation is possible. It will become 1 upon 2. Now what we are observing that all the three ratios are equal. a1 upon a2 is equal to b1 upon b2 is equal to c1 upon c2. Now if all the three ratios are equal, that means the lines are overlapping each other. That means they are meeting each other at so many points. So there will be how many solution? There will be infinitely many solution. Now we are left with only one form, that they can ask whether the pair of linear equation is consistent or inconsistent. So let us study about that. Our next example is find out whether the following pair of equations are consistent or inconsistent. So if we will be getting a solution, they will be consistent. If we are not getting any solution, it will be inconsistent. Our equation is 3 upon 2x plus 5 upon 3y is equal to 7. 9x minus 10y is equal to 14. Again we can see that the given pair of linear equation are not in the general form. So let us firstly convert them into the general form, equate them with 0. So we will take whatever is there on right hand side to the left hand side. 3 upon 2x plus 5 upon 3y minus 7 is equal to 0. 9x minus 10y minus 14 is equal to 0. Again, considering them as 1 and 2, let us compare the one with a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0. So we got the value of a1 3 upon 2, the value of b1 5 upon 3 and the value of c1 minus 7. Now comparing 2 with a2x plus b2y plus c2 is equal to 0, we get a2 is equal to 9, b2 is equal to minus 10 and c2 is equal to minus 14. Now we have to find out the ratio. So a1 upon a2, 3 upon 2 upon 9. So 9 will be converted into 1 upon 9. So it will become 3 upon 2 into 9. After cancellation we got 1 upon 6. Now b1 upon b2, 5 upon 3 upon minus 10. Again minus 10 will become 1 upon minus 10. So it will be 5 upon 3 into minus 10. After cancellation it will become minus 1 upon 6. Now c1 upon c2, minus 7 upon minus 14. Cancellation is possible. 7 1s are 7, 7 2s are 14. It is 1 upon 2. Now what we are observing here, that a1 upon a2 and b1 upon b2 is having same ratio, but the sign is different. So if the sign is different, that means the answer is different. So they are not equal. Don't consider them as equal. They are not equal. Therefore a1 upon a2 is not equal to b1 upon b2. Therefore we can say that they will have they are intersecting, so they will have unique solution. If they will have unique solution, that means they are consistent. Whenever we are getting a solution, we can say that the pair of linear equation is consistent. So in the similar way, you will get the question in the exam. That's all for today. Thank you.